Well, we're back. I know, a consistent schedule? Who is this guy? You know, I feel I've been pretty favorable to all of these titles so far, the weakest being Survivor, but even then it had a few interesting things going for it. This one though, maybe saying it's not good is a little harsh. It's terrible. Released in 2001 in Japan and early 2002 in Europe, this game never saw the daylight stateside. As the title suggests, this is a sequel to the first Survivor, though it ditches anything remotely interesting that game did. Instead, the game decides to be more arcadey, and that makes sense as this game was heavily designed with arcades in mind. I usually tend to go through the game from beginning to end, recapping the plot, etc, etc. This time around, there is no plot, mostly. It's very loosely based on Code Veronica. From the title screen, we have two game modes, Arcade and Dungeons. Arcade is the quote-unquote story mode, and Dungeon is more of a horde game type. So what does Arcade consist of? Arcade has 5 levels, but it's more like 3, with the last 2 barely having any content. The goal of every level is grabbing a key and getting to the exit before time runs out. You also have a boss fight to top every area off. Sure, there tends to be a few obstacles, but for the most part you can just run to the key and then to the end without really shooting anything. But if you're playing a light gun game and not shooting things, are you even really playing? Unlike the original Survivor, you really don't get to aim here. It's very much auto aim. They did keep the way movement works, which is pretty cool, or at least it was, as it's not so good here. It kind of feels awkward, and turning is stiff despite this game wanting to be fast paced and actiony. The camera also does go kind of wonky when you walk past enemies, giving you a like over the head view. It's weird. There's also no more inventory system, and to be fair, it wasn't all that important in Survivor, but it was nice keeping healing items on you if you needed them just in case. You do have optional weapons, but you can only keep one. The Magnum seems kind of broken, so I just always went with that. Oh yeah, you see that? I mentioned the timer thing, but when the time runs out, Nemesis shows up. It's not an instant game over, but he does one-shot you, taking your much needed lives. So you're rushing to the exit in order to make sure you don't lose any. You get 3 by the way. Unless you play for multiple hours, then you can get up to 12. I know I shouldn't take it too seriously, but seeing Nemesis here just throws me off a little. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool to see his model here, but it just feels like they threw him here like, don't you guys just love Nemesis, you know? Which we do, but it just feels a little odd is all. Each level contains mixed parts of Code Veronica. Level 1 being the graveyard, until you reach the gate, so the lower half of the facility. And the boss here being a giant spider that you can 2-shot if you have the Magnum. Level 2 is the palace, and some of the mansion from the endgame area, with this area's boss being that poisonous hunter. A little tougher, but just have the AI take aggro. Easy enough. Level 3 brings us to the training facility, and also the biggest level. There's a few different ways you can get to the key, or in which order you want to grab them. It's a welcome change of pace. The boss here is Nosferatu and some gremlins. Level 4 is a chase sequence for half, with Nemesis chasing you through what I believe is the airport section, or the other side of it where you come up from the submarine. You eventually pass your way through to the castle and up that giant staircase to arrive at the mansion from late game. Oh, Alexia is here too. No Alfred at all in this game. Sad.
What? No!
This level is unique in the sense that there's 2 bosses, first being another spider, and after you get the key to leave, the boss will be First Form Alexia. She still has the same moveset, just minus the insta-kill grab, and level 5 is very disappointing in the sense that it's a single boss fight with a tyrant, or if you would, Nums, and once you've beaten him, you've beaten the game. That's it. Apparently this is a daydream from Claire about the events of Code Veronica, and she's kind of like recapping it in her head, dreaming about it. I'm not sure, maybe I missed that, but that's what every wiki says. This game is pretty disappointing, especially when compared to the original Survivor for a multiple of reasons. For starters, there's no voice acting at all in this game. There are subtitles when characters are talking, but come on, you play the original Resident Evil for some, it's so bad, it's good voice acting, not subtitles.
What? Really? I'm not Vincent?
You're also timed for every level, and there's no real exploring, so it feels very less Resident Evil-y, if you would. However, that's just looking at it as a sequel or a Resident Evil title. When you take that magnifying glass away, I could see this actually being quite fun at an arcade with a friend. It's quick to beat. I mean, I beat it under 40-ish minutes, which is way shorter than the first one. The timer also does kind of make it fun in a sense of how fast can I go or no damage runs. But shooting just doesn't feel good, which then detracts from that because it's a light gun game and it's all about shooting. Plus, this game can actually be kind of hard. I mean, I had to turn the difficulty down from normal to easy. Not because I sucked or because, you know, maybe I was bad. Mostly because I didn't really have it in me to keep playing this game for much longer. Playing it single player is just not fun. But if you can somehow play with somebody else, I can see this being a good time. Because good luck using that AI partner. Practically useless. Only good thing is they can take aggro. If you end up beating the game, you can get a reward that lets you adjust your partner's AI level, or like I said earlier, if you play long enough, you should be able to get more lives if you need them. So all in all, not that very good of a game. A few interesting things, but falls flat in most regards. I am, however, much more interested in the next title we'll be looking at. So see you around and take it easy.
You look familiar, but... but I just can't remember.